Hello and welcome. I'm so happy to have you join me. This video is part of a series that I'm doing on how to make your 100K goal not just probable, but inevitable over the next 12 months. And I know this is an important goal for so many of you here because so many of you have already downloaded this. This is my ABC guide of consistent 10K months. If you don't have a copy of this already, I will drop a link below. And whether you do or don't, just know that in these videos, I'm going to be going into a deeper dive and helping you to get really focused on what you do need to do in order to make your 100K goal inevitable and what you don't need to do. Because a lot of the things that are getting in the way right now are distractions that are not only serving you, but they're actually delaying your progress. So before I go any further, many of you know me, but just in case you don't, why am I and who am I to be qualified to speak about making 100K? Well, I made my first 100K in 1998 and have gone on to have multiple six-figure and seven-figure years since. And during that time, I've helped hundreds of people to make at least 100K, and a couple I've actually helped onto the million level mark as well. So over this time, I really have seen everything, and I'm very passionate about keeping this really, really, really simple. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So I want to start where we are and really get clear on like, what is the first thing that you need to do to make 100K? And this may sound obvious, but it's incredible to me how many people miss this step. And the first thing is you have to decide. So you have to decide right here, right now, I am making 100K in the next 12 months or sooner if you want, but you make the decision. Now, I talk to a lot of people who aren't making 100K, and when I explore it with them, I realize that they're wishing for it or hoping for it or doing what I did the first couple of years before I reached 100K, which is my strategy was, well, I'm just going to work really hard and I'm going to do everything I can. And then hopefully at the end of the year, I'll look back and add up the money I made and I'll have made 100K. That doesn't work, by the way. I'm going to tell you what does instead. So you absolutely have to make the decision. Now, I love the quote by Doreen Virtue that says, God doesn't give us the dreams without the ability to make them happen. So even if right now you're not exactly sure about how all the pieces fit into place, and of course, if this is a result you haven't already achieved in your life, of course, there's going to be bits that you're not so certain about. But what you can trust in is that with your desire and your commitment, this can become inevitable. So I love, the quantum physics theory that there's already a version of you out there in the world who's already making 100K. And one of the things that you can start to do is to build a relationship with that person and really tune into how are they thinking? How are they making decisions? How are they showing up? But absolutely the first step for you is to decide. And it's like, this is on. Like, I'm not going to just try something half-heartedly and then at the first sign of an obstacle, just kind of like give up. I've just decided that this is something I'm going to do. This is a result I'm going to create, and I'm going to do what it takes to make it happen, however long it takes. And I will tell you that simple act of making a decision that has helped me so much in my life with so many goals, way beyond making money. It helped me with weight loss. It's helped me with buying new property. It's helped me with so many things. So you absolutely have to get clear as like, is this something that I have decided and that I am committed to? Okay, the next thing we need to do to help you make 100K is we really need to look at, if we were to fast forward 12 months from now and look back over your income, how has that money come in? And I want to talk to you today about simplifying your offerings and simplifying the number of things you're offering at which price point, because one mistake I see so many people make, and I made it myself, is having multiple offerings. And it's like, it's really confusing. It's like, well, what's actually the plan gonna be to make 100K? So every week people book calls with me, and I have the privilege of being able to meet with people like you and look at what you've created so far. And part of that would involve going to a website. And this must have happened 5 times last week, where I went along to a person's website and could see their expertise, could see, that they were offering value, had some nice success stories and testimonials. But when I started to explore the different ways that someone could work with them, there were so many confusing offers. So it could be that there was a live event, and then there was an online course, and then it was possible to work one-on-one, and then there was a £10 per month membership site. And there's a saying, a confused mind never buys. And if you are putting out multiple offerings, that is going to make your journey to 100K a lot more arduous than it needs to be, because you're first of all, it's like, well, how does it break down? We'll come to the maths in a moment about how you take the 100K figure and break it down. But if you've got multiple offerings, where are you going to know where to focus? You know, if we apply like the 80-20 rule, which is like 20% of your efforts produce 80% of the results, where is that 20% that you need to be focusing on? So if you've got a membership site, which is £10 a month, should you be doing that? Or should you be working with clients one-to-one? But if you work with clients one-to-one, what about your live event? And so when you have multiple offers, what you're doing is you're putting yourself in the situation of having these multiple plates to spin. And that's when it can really feel like you're just doing all of this stuff, and yet it's not translating into results. So I'm going to suggest we just let some of those plates fall. And let's get really clear on what it will take to get you from here today to 100K over the next 12 months. And one of the things that's really going to help you, I said about simplifying your offerings, is to get clear on, okay, what is the plan for this money to come in? So I love this quote. I had to write it down before I came on because I knew I wouldn't be able to remember the whole thing, even though I have quoted this several times before. This is from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And he says, knowledge will not attract money unless it's organized and intelligently directed through practical plans of action to the definite end of accumulation of money. So that's what I'm talking to you about here today. That your 100K goal, it needs to be something you decide, you commit to. You're not just going to cross your fingers, wish for it, hope for it, work as hard as you can, and then just kind of check in. This is something that you will create purposefully, knowing every day that you're on track to this end result. And so one of the ways that you can do that is by really having a plan for how is that 100K coming in. So let me give you some options. One way that 100K could come in is that you have one client who pays you 100K. Now, I know some of you, like, you're already freaking out going, oh, that's not possible. Look, I'm not saying that that's going to be your plan. I'm just saying it's one possible plan. Another way, and I've helped many people with this one, is to have a 10K program. And that might be people working with you over the course of a year and only have 10 clients. 10 times 10, 100K. The next plan could be that you have a 5K offering and you focus on enrolling 20 clients this year to your 5K offering. You could have 50 clients who will pay you 2,000 each. And you might say, well, 50 clients, that's a lot, Bernadette. But let's just break that down. 50 clients over 12 months, that really only works out at 4 to 5 clients a month. So, and we're not going to dive deep into like the intricacies, the how-tos. It's like what you'd be offering. That's not the purpose of this call. I just want to get you clear on the big picture here so that you can start to identify what might have been coming between you in this goal up until now. And you know where you need to focus right now in order to shift this. 100K could be having 100 clients paying you 1,000 each. Okay, so that's the first thing to do, is start to look at, instead of having these multiple offerings, let's just get really clear on having, one or two key offerings and just focus on that in order to make 100K. Now, why is this important? Well, first of all, when someone comes along, when they're attracted in by your energy, and they like what you're doing and they want to find out more about you, when they ask the question, how can I work with you? You're not giving them 5 to 10 answers. You're not confusing them. You can be really clear. It's like, well, this is the main thing I do to help people get the results that I can help you with, or solve the problem that you want help solving. And this is how it works. Now, I also know, because I've talked to people a lot about this over the years, I also know where you're going to feel some resistance to this suggestion. Because what you're going to offer me is like, oh, but Bernadette, I can't offer a £2,000 program or a $2,000 program, because what about all the people who can't afford that. Surely I need to create something for them. And my answer is, well, yeah, maybe. Maybe long term you do. But how about for now, we just focus on connecting you with the people who are willing and able to invest at that level? How about we just simplify things for now and keep you focused there? And so notice that if you have multiple offerings, and it's been created and it's been fueled by like a lack of belief or a lack of confidence in your ability to secure people at your higher prices, that's never going to work. So I'll share with you a story from a couple of years ago. This is Ben, who is a video guy who works with people. He was working with health and wellness professionals, and he'd created a new program to help them. This was during the pandemic. He wanted to help them get up and running with an online program so that they could still connect with and serve clients during that period of lockdown. And his offering, which was well worth it if you looked at all of the time and all the expertise he was bringing to the table, and also the potential income possibilities of him having this, he was charging $3,000 for what he offered. But he was new to selling at that price point. And so there were some skills that he hadn't developed at that point. He didn't know how to overcome objections. He hadn't yet figured out how to communicate and explain the value of what he was offering. So he started selling, but he hadn't developed those skills yet. And unsurprisingly, the first couple of calls he did, he got knocked back with price objections. And he came to our coaching session and he said, look, I've spoken to two people. One of them in particular was hanging on price. I think the price is too high and I think I need to create something lower ticket. And I said to him, well, just hold on a second there. I said, I'm not convinced that that's the direction that we should go in right now, because first of all, I don't think you've spoken to enough people, and also recognize that, you haven't yet developed the skills of price objections and communicating the value of what you offer. How about we work on that first and we still have you talk to some more people? Let's be scientific about this. Like, if you really are going to go and change the price point, let's make sure that we've gone and gathered some data about whether it is really the price that's stopping people from taking action. So I told him he should speak to 10 more people. He came back the following week and he'd made his first sale. He'd made a sale at £3,000. And of course, he was thrilled to bits and it was great, that he started working with a client. But what I want to offer you is, had he decided in that first conversation with me that no, he was going to go and create something low ticket, he wouldn't have been out there speaking to people who could pay him. He would have been, locked at his desk, trying to figure out what his next lower ticket offering was, and trying to figure out a way to sell that, and just not focused on who's available to say yes to what I want to offer right now. And I'm sharing this story with you because that is what, every time you have a sales conversation and you get a price objection, and then you use that price objection as a reason to go drop your price, create something new, all you are doing is delaying the process to you making 100K. And you're complicating it, you're confusing potential buyers, but most of all, you're confusing yourself. Because if you've got 3 or 4 different things to offer someone, when they come and they, sit in front of you, or they kind of knock on your door to say, hi, I'm interested, I'm curious, what have you got? You now have mental drama about what you should even be offering them. And it is getting in the way of you connecting with the people that you can serve. That's why I'm here, by the way. We're talking about making money, but this ultimately isn't about making money. Making 100K is about creating more than 100K's worth of value. That's basically what it is. It's about taking the gifts and the talents that you already have and showing up in the marketplace in a way that makes it easy for the people who need your help to say yes to you. That's what this is ultimately about. So the first thing I'm going to encourage you to do is to get really clear on what is a transformation that you can offer, like a problem that you solve, a result that you help people achieve, and then find a way to package that in a simple way that is easy for you to deliver. So it's got to be sustainable for you to deliver, and it's easy to say yes to. Right, can I just keep this super simple? I have so many clients that are just doing this through offering a one-to-one program. I'm thinking of my client, Lynn, who you'll be meeting in a couple of weeks. She's agreed to come and do a video here about her success making over 100K in the last 12 months. And her one-to-one offering is a £6,000 offering. Now think about it. If you're selling some of the £6,000, you only need 16 or 17 clients over the course of the year. So she's very clear when she speaks to someone who's a potential one-to-one client, she knows exactly what she's offering them. It makes it simple. She's not having to come up with something new every time. Now, your price points might be lower. That's absolutely fine too. My motto is start where you are, right? So I would say, what have you sold up until now? Like, who has been your best client? What is it that you have confidence selling? And so if your confidence level right now is selling £1,000 package or a £2,000 package or $2,000, whatever the currency is, we will start there. Let's start there. And then let's figure out how you bring in the clients for that offering. Okay, so how is that going to happen? You get really clear on what your offering is, and you figured out your numbers. You're like, I know I need in the next 12 months, I need to make 50 sales at 2,000 a piece. That's how I'm going to make my 100K. But Bernadette, I have no idea how I'm going to find 50 clients. And my answer to that is, no, of course you don't. Of course you don't as of today, because you're not there yet. Like 100K you in the future has achieved that result, but from where you are from this point, no, of course you don't have it yet. But I will tell you again where to focus. So the first thing you're going to need in place is a mechanism for converting interest into potential business. And the second thing that you're going to need to do is have a system for attracting and nurturing that interest. So let's talk about those two in turn. So the first one, when people discover you, how is it that they go from, oh, she looks interesting, I'd like to know more? What's the process from that thought to them saying, here's my credit card, or I've just transferred the payment, or yes, I'm in, I want to be your client? What are the steps? Have you taken the time to think about that? I want to help simplify this for you. The highest converting mechanism that you can possibly have is to bring that person to a one-to-one conversation, an in-person consultation. Now, the reason I say that, and again, I'm saying this from perspective of helping hundreds of people to make 100K plus, I am saying it because this is the simplest one to put in place. Yes, you can sell from a webinar. I've done it. Yes, you can sell from a sales page and using emails to drive traffic to the sales page. I've done that too. But in those, the conversion is so much lower. Conversion from a webinar might be like 4 to 5%. And then you've still got the challenge of like, how do you fill the webinar? How do you get everybody to the webinar? Conversion from a sales page, having masterminded over the years with people making multi-millions online, a 1% conversion of a sales page is considered awesome, right? If you speak to someone in person and they already know a little bit about you and they've come to you because they've been sort of drawn in by what they've seen about you, and I'll come on to how you do that in just a moment. Those people, you can convert like 40 to 80% of those people. So it's a much more efficient way of taking that interest and converting it into paying business. So I'm going to recommend that you set up time for strategy sessions, consultations. You create those times on your calendar, week after week. They're there permanently, like just like your gym appointments or, the appointments that you have for other commitments in your week. You just know it's going to happen. They're there as permanent slots on your calendar. And if you think about it, let's say that you want to, I'll just stick with the 2K price point, okay? I don't know why I'm encouraged to do that, but I'm going to. So you're looking to bring on 5 new clients per month. Well, let's figure out how many people are you going to have that one-to-one conversation with, right? If your conversion, I said conversion could be 40 to 80%, and I've seen that, but let's be a bit more conservative. Let's say that it is 1 in 3. That still means that over the course of a month, you need to have 15 sales conversations. 15. Like, that's not huge. That's 4 a week. 4 people a week that you want to get to raise their hands and say, yes, I'm interested. I want to find out more. So now I know what you're going to say to me is like, well, Bernadette, but I last month I didn't do 4 sales consults last month. How on earth am I going to find 4 people a week? I will tell you what you're missing. You're missing a system that attracts and nurtures leads consistently so that you have a steady stream of those calls coming through. This is one of the things I can help you with. You do not need to have this to get started. You can start where you are, and you could take the next 2 to 3 months putting that system in place. Now, I am huge on sustainability. I'm huge on what are the things that you can do consistently, day in, day out, week in, week out, that's going to make that possible for you. So this isn't about doing some big crazy launch where you kind of generate interest and then you're exhausted and then all the potential's gone away. I'm talking about having permanent, ongoing systems so that people who need what you have to offer can find you, are then drawn into your world, and then once they're in your world, you know how to connect with them, nurture them, so that every single week there is someone new who's going to come through with their raised hands and go, yeah, like I'm ready. I'm ready, and I want to know, and I want to explore how we can work together. So all of those things in place, that creates 100K for you. So let's just do a recap on what I've talked about. Number 1, the most important thing, you've got to decide. Don't wish for 100K. Don't hope for 100K. Don't work really hard and then come back 12 months later and go, how did things do? Because you will not be at 100K. But if you decide, and you decide to start where you are, that's the most important first step. Number 2, you're going to put a plan in place for how your 100K is going to come in. It has to be a plan that starts where you are. So we're not going to talk about you going creating a 10K offer if you've never sold more than more than 1,000 at a time. It's got to be tailored to you, and it's got to feel sustainable and doable and believable for you. Okay. Number 3 is you are going to cut out all of those multiple offerings, all of those confusing things that are taking up your time, they're sucking up your time and energy, but they're not contributing to this 100K goal. We're going to get those off the table. Number 4, you're going to put the focus on meeting with people this week and every month who are ready to become your next paying client. That is going to be an activity that you will prioritize. You will schedule it on your calendar, and you'll make sure that you're allocating time for those conversations every single week. And then finally, you're going to put in place a system that attracts and nurtures people, so those spots on your calendar are filled every week with people who are ready, willing, able to say yes to you for the offer that you're currently offering. It can be that simple. That is simple 100K. Now, if you would like help getting your plan in place, then I'm here to help you. So I have spots on my calendar every week because I want my talk. There are spots on my calendar where I am open to helping people who want to explore the possibility of creating 100K, who may have some mental drama about how will I do it? What will the price points be? I'm not sure what I should offering. Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? I will bring my experience to the table, and I will guide you, and I'll help you get clear on where to focus, what to drop, starting from where you are. And then we can also talk about, no matter what judgments you have on selling or marketing, we can talk about some simple things that you can put in place so that you have that system that is pulling in and attracting in new potential buyers week after week. You have a system in place, a simple, sustainable system, something that you can work consistently. I said last week that the flip side of consistency is doable. So it has to be something that's doable for you, that fits in with your current level of energy and priorities. And there is a system that's doable for you. So you put that in place, and I will talk to you about how you can put that in place and how you can make your 100K goal not just probable, but inevitable. So I will drop a link below if you want to book a call to speak with me. And I will be back next week, where we're going to be doing a deeper dive into specifically converting interest into paying business. So I know I probably brought up some questions with what I've covered today, and I want to make sure I'm doing justice to every one of these topics. So if you're ready to come and talk to me about you being my next 100K success story, make sure to click the link below, come on over and get yourself on my calendar so we can talk about helping you to make 100K over the next 12 months. And everyone else, I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.